In today's demo, I'm going to teach you how to make color studies using limited color palettes. And the purpose of this exercise will be to help you loosen up, simplify creating abstract work, and help you to work out compositions for when you move on to larger paintings. These will also help you to have a better understanding of color. And what I'm showing you here are some limited color palette color studies that I've done. Each of these using a limit of 3 or 4 colors in each study. So here is an example of some color swatches that I made only using a limited number of colors. So here I've got Payne's Gray, alizarin crimson, cadmium yellow medium, and white. And those are the only colors that I used in order to make all of these colors that you see on this page. And in this example, I limited my color palette to quinacridone magenta, green gold, parchment, and Payne's Gray. And these 4 colors are all I used in order to make these color studies here. I have a helpful video on how to mix color, which I will link for you here at the top of the screen. Now let's move on to today's project. For this, I'm using acrylic paper that I bought at an art supply store. Here I have a jar of matte gel medium. This one is by Liquitex, but you can use any professional brand you'd like. Using a sponge brush, I'm going to scoop out some of this matte gel medium and start spreading it on this paper. I'll be applying 2 even coats of this matte gel medium and letting it dry in between coats. I want to make sure that I bring the medium all the way to the edges of the paper so that they are coated with the gel medium. Once my gel medium was thoroughly dry, I used masking tape to mask off the edges of my paper and a cross in the middle, and this gives me 4 even squares for my color studies. And here is my color palette all set up. I did decide to go with quinacridone magenta, Payne's Gray, parchment, and green gold. So I've decided that my background color would be kind of a light peachy pink color. So I'm going to coat my entire page with this color, and I'm overlapping the tape, and I'm doing this because I'm going to paint this entire page as one big painting instead of 4 small paintings. And the purpose of that matte gel medium was to create a barrier between the paint and the paper so that the paint does not soak too much into the paper. Now that I've let that background color dry a little bit, I'm going to come in and start having some fun adding my composition. Since my background is pretty light, I'm going to mix up a really dark color because I want to start creating the full range of values. I find that if I don't apply my darkest color now, that I run the risk of my colors all being too similar in value. And here I'm not really planning anything. I'm just freely applying my paint. I'm applying the paint with my catalyst wedge, and then I'm using the very edge of it in order to make some fun marks in the paint. And this is still not the time to get too caught up in what the end result of this painting will look like. Because my green gold has so much yellow in it, I can get a really beautiful warm red if I mix the green gold with my quinacridone magenta. Now I'm going to switch to my paintbrush so I can create softer edges. You can use the back of your paintbrush to make beautiful marks in your wet paint. Now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. And I'm doing this so I can add some smaller lines and details. This will help carry the viewer's eye around the painting, and that's one thing that helps to make a good composition. I know it looks like a mess right now, but this is where you just have to trust the process. It'll be beautiful when it's finished, I promise you. There's no such thing as a bad painting. There's just paintings that haven't quite gotten finished yet, and that's the stage this painting is in. I really love how this yellow green color is waking up my painting. And this again is just that green gold mixed with a little bit of parchment. Now I'm going to turn my painting around and work on it from a different angle. And this just gives a whole different perspective and helps me not get too caught up in trying to make this painting look like anything in particular other than just a beautiful color study. I'm adding some larger shapes of parchment in order to break up some of the smaller details a little bit so that my painting is not too full of details, creating a variety of different sizes of shapes. Bringing variety into your painting creates interest and also helps with eye flow, which creates a strong composition. And now for this layer, I'm using the lightest touch possible in order to just skim the paint over the surface of the layers underneath. And now I'm going to turn it again so I can get another perspective on this painting. At this point, I can't even see where the tape is underneath the paint, and that's exactly what I want. This means that I have enough layers in my painting. Now I'm going to finish it up with some final small details. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. So here is my finished piece. I took a hair dryer, and here's a tip that you're probably going to want to follow. So I took a hair dryer and I warmed up my masking tape, and that makes it a lot easier to peel off of the paper so that it doesn't rip. And I'm just going to go ahead and start peeling off the tape now for the big reveal. If you're interested, I'll list all the materials I used for this project in the description box below this video. And here are my 4 beautiful paintings, each one with a unique and interesting composition. As a final step, I've decided that I'm going to add a little bit of gold metallic medium to my paintings. This is a medium, and it's similar to paint except that it's transparent. Golden brand also makes a beautiful shade of gold that isn't too yellow, not too brassy looking. But for this, I'm going to use this transparent gold. You can use a brush, but I've decided to use just the very tip of my catalyst wedge. And for this, I'm just going to skim very lightly over the surface of my painting. And I'm going to zoom in here so you can see my technique and also just see how pretty and transparent this gold shimmer is. And now I think that was the perfect finishing touch. This color palette always reminds me of gorgeous autumn hydrangeas and would be beautiful displayed on a wall in gold frames. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed this video and if you plan on making your own limited color studies. Thank you for watching. See you next time.